Good evening, duelist. It's your boy Jules here, and we are talking about the Fusion Festival today. We're playing Fusion, and we're playing Cyberdarks, the edgier version of the Cyber deck. And this deck is all about this bad boy right here, Cyberdark End Dragon, a 5,000 attack beater that is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, and of course you can equip things to it from the grave to allow it to attack multiple times during the battle phase. This is the boss monster. It's the whole reason the deck exists. Let's see how we're actually going to get to this unstoppable 12-star monster. First, let's talk about the boring things: the hand traps, 3 Max D, 3 Ash, 2 Call by the Grave, 3 Imperm. That's just so that we can actually play the game, because there are far more broken strategies than the one that we're playing today. Let's talk about our Cyberdarks: 3 Cannon, 3 Claw, 1 each of the Horn, Edge, and Keel, and then 2 of the Chimera. These things want to be in the graveyard. We need them to be in the graveyard, in fact, so that we are able to fusion summon into our various Cyberdark fusion monsters. Cannon discards itself to grab a machine Cyberdark monster from the deck, and then Claw discards to get us a spell. Chimera is really where we have our choke point. Chimera gets us Power Bond, which allows us to fusion summon from our extra deck using material from both our field and our hand. And if this was activated after using Chimera's effect to add it to our hand, we can actually banish monsters from our grave as well, which is why we want to be discarding all of our claws, our cannons, etc., to put them in the grave so that we can banish those and have the 5 required Cyberdark effect monsters to special summon Darkness Dragon. This is our halfway point to our Cyberdark Dragon. Cyberdarkness Dragon, we will then, when it's special summoned, equip a dragon or machine monster from our grave to it. That's going to be Cyber End Dragon, because the special workaround case for Cyberdark End Dragon is that instead of just having to fusion summon between Cyberdark Dragon and Cyber End Dragon, you can tribute a level 10 or lower Cyberdark fusion monster equipped with Cyber End Dragon. So we get to our Cyber Darkness Dragon, that will automatically equip our Cyber End Dragon, and then we can go right into Cyber Dark End Dragon, equip something to it, and this is essentially untouchable. We have a few other cards in here just to facilitate the whole process. Cyberdark Realm adds a Cyberdark from our deck to our hand, and it also gives us an additional normal summon. Cyber Emergency allows us to add a Cyber Dragon or a light machine monster that can be normal summoner set. That's going to get us this Cyber Dragon core so that we can get our Cyber Dark Realm. And then, of course, we have the Cybernetic Horizon, which allows us to send a bunch of monsters from both our deck, our extra deck, and our hand to the grave. This is kind of the way to make sure that we have as many Cyberdarks as possible so that we can activate that power bond and banish them from our graveyard. That's basically the deck in a nutshell. Shall we get into some games? All right, so here is our first game. We are on the draw, so let's see what our opponent's got. We have a fairly powerful hand. They're going to lead with a Cyberdark Claw. This is the mirror. I'm going to ash that. I do not want them to have any sort of the powerful cyber spell traps that really get this deck going. As we can see, we already have Cybernetic Horizon in our hand. We don't want them to have it. They have a Cyber Emergency as well. They're going to add a Cyber Dragon Core, and they're going to normal summon that. But we have the Imperm. Still, really, that is the choke point, making sure that they do not have Cybernetic Horizon. That is going to ensure that you have success against this deck. And if you're playing with this deck, make sure that you do get Cybernetic Horizon. That is going to ensure that you have success with the deck. All right, so we draw a Cyberdark Realm. We're going to lead with our own Cyber Emergency, grabbing our own Cyber Dragon Core. Second verse, same as the first. You know, I liked it so much, I just figured I'd steal it for myself. And they have the Imperm. Jeez, deja vu. That's okay, though. We have the Cyberdark Realm, which will add the Cyberdark Claw to our hand. We can pitch our Cyberdark Claw to add another Cyberdark Realm. This is just fodder for when we need to activate Chimera. We'll activate Cybernetic Horizon, sending Hertz as well as our Keel. Hertz will trigger, and we will add the Cyber Dragon to our hand. Just another material just in case we need it, or if we were on the play, we could have potentially special summoned it. We will discard and then add Cyberdark Chimera to our hand. Chimera will trigger. We'll discard the spell in our hand, adding a Power Bond. Now, to ensure that we have 5 Cyberdarks in the grave, we'll go into Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon and also be able to eat up summon the Chimera Tech to make sure that we had the proper amount of Cyberdarks in grave, because when Chimera is sent to the grave, you can actually send a Cyberdark from your deck to the grave, and our opponent, seeing the writing on the wall, rightly scooped it up. All right, back for game 2, and once again, a very powerful hand. We are on the play this time, so we're going to lead off with that Cyber Emergency. That will bait out an Ash Blossom from our opponent, but that's fine. Actually, it's not fine at all. We have no more plays. We will be forced to pass the turn. Let's see what our opponent has. Luckily, we have a few hand traps of our own, so we can hopefully play through anything that they might offer. They're going to lead with a Branded Opening. We are going to Ash that. Branded, a very powerful deck, especially in the Fusion Festival. Very pushed, so we want to make sure that we cut them off from all the resources. They're going to summon Aluber the Boober and add Despia Theater the Branded to their hand. They will play the Despia Theater the Branded. I'm going to pitch the Max C so that if they do decide to Fusion Summon, we will get a draw off of that. That will resolve, and our opponent will elect to just hit us for 1800 and then pass the turn. We draw a Cyberdark Claw, an excellent draw. We're going to immediately pitch that Cyberdark Claw and add a Cyberdark Realm to our hand. We'll activate the Cyberdark Realm, adding a Cyberdark Cannon. We'll pitch the cannon, adding one of our, we'll add the edge. You always want to add edge, horn, or keel because you're going to immediately pitch it off Cybernetic Horizon. Also putting Hertz in the graveyard, of course, to add the Cyber Dragon, and we will put the Cyber End Dragon along from our extra deck in there so we can equip it later on. We'll special summon the Cyber Dragon because our opponent has a creature and we don't. Then we'll normal summon the Cyberdark Chimera, pitching the Power Bond, adding Power Bond, and then sending both of those creatures away to activate Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Chimera will trigger. We will send another Cyberdark to the grave, and then we'll be able to fire off Power Bond, banishing all 5 from our grave for a Cyber Darkness Dragon. Cyber Darkness Dragon hits the field. We will immediately equip that Cyber End Dragon that we so lovingly placed in the graveyard. And now I figure I would just like to attack because we do get that stat boost from Power Bond, and it's going to be lethal. Easy peasy. We didn't even need to go into Cyber Darkness End Dragon. Now for our last game, we are on the draw again. This one is a real doozy, ladies and gentlemen. Our opponent's going to lead with a Spiritual Beast Canahawk, which is a card. And then they're going to go Fusion Destiny because Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is a very powerful card. And then they'll just end the turn. All right, we've definitely got our work cut out for us, but I do believe we can make it through. Power Bond, not bad. Let's lead with a Cyber Dragon. Normal summon that, activate Cyberdark Realm. Our opponent is going to fire off the DPE, destroying our Cyberdark Realm and the Spiritual Canahawk. Unfortunately, that does not allow our Cyberdark Realm to resolve, but that's okay. We already have the Cybernetic Horizon in hand. We can send our Cyberdark as well as the Hertz, add a keel. We'll send Cyber End Dragon as well. Fire Cyberdark Cannon, adding Cyberdark Chimera. Normal summon Cyberdark Chimera, activate pitching Power Bond for Power Bond. Now we'll go to the battle phase. I'm going to run the Cyberdark Chimera into the DPE just so that we have enough Cyberdarks in our grave. I could have gone for that Chimera tech there, but I was apparently not thinking. We'll be able to fire the Power Bond, banish all of those Cyberdarks from our graveyard, and get the Cyber Darkness Dragon. Cyber Darkness Dragon is going to trigger, and we will add Cyber End Dragon and then immediately tribute them off for the Cyber Dark End Dragon. Here is the big daddy, the boss monster to end all boss monsters, and that will trigger, and we're going to actually add the Celestial off from the graveyard, thus negating our opponent's ability to potentially banish that later. Our opponent does not read cards, apparently, because they decided to fire the DP off, targeting our Cyber Dark Dragon, but of course this is unaffected by our opponent's activated effects, so it stays on the field nice and cozy. Our opponent is going to activate Dasher. They drew an Ash Blossom, so they'll get to special summon that. DP is going to come back. Still cannot touch our Cyber Dark Dragon. Spiritual Beast Canahawk triggers once again. That is a card. Our opponent is going to play Ritual Beast Tamer Wen, bringing back the Spiritual Beast Rampengu, which is going to send some cards and then fusion summon this other Ritual Beast, this Ulti Apelio. They're going to be able to destroy our equipped Celestial Hero Dasher and then run over our Cyber Dragon. Our opponent's going to attempt to fire DP again, still not learning from the decision. We drew a Cyberdark Claw for turn. We are going to send Cyberdark Claw, adding Cyberdark Realm. With Cyberdark Realm, we will activate and add Cannon to our hand. We'll activate Cyberdark End Dragon, actually attaching that DPE from the grave. Bad mistake, opponent. Our opponent sends back their fusion monster and special summons 2 Ritual Beasts. We will be able to attack over both of these with our cannon that we normal summoned, and of course the Cyberdark End Dragon. DP triggers, which does allow the Destiny Hero Dasher to get special summoned, and they will normal summon a Tamer and crash in with our cannon. Then they'll activate and fusion summon a different ritual beast, the Gaia-Pelio. We draw Called by the Grave. Very nice. A lot of graveyard shenanigans going on with our opponent. We will equip the Celestial again, and now we will have 2 attacks, easily walking over both of our opponent's creatures. Main phase 2, we will set the Called by the Grave just in case, and we will pass the turn back. Turn 7, definitely been the grind game, but feeling confident, certainly. And our opponent sets 1, passes it back. Appears to be a clear shot to victory. We will attach 1 more card just to be safe, enter the battle phase, and attack. A healthy 5,000 to the face. So y'all, that is the deck. I think it performed quite well. I had obviously several losses, but I wanted to showcase when the deck did its thing and was able to successfully pull out a victory, especially that final grind game was very rewarding. This is a fun deck. It's not a super resilient deck. Obviously, we are kind of attempting to get to our 1 boss monster and putting all of our resources into that, but it's a fun deck. Certainly something that you can grind in the Fusion Festival as well as the lower ranks of the ladder to reasonable success. This is the deck. Do want to take a look at an updated version for when we're out of the Fusion Festival and we can play with things like Lynx and Xyz monsters as well. So let's take a look at that real quick. If you will notice, we have added a few cards, most notably being these 2 crossout designators. They're excellent, as well as an effect failure just in case, and this Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. Now, if you were following along, you'll know that part of the key thing of this is that CYBERDARK End Dragon equips things to itself. Well, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword says, when this is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. This is an extra deck lock built into our deck. So we can easily do this with the use of our powerful Link monster, Union Carrier. So we are continually making a bunch of monsters, and if you noticed a few times, I had to use my Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon to send my CyberDark Chimera and potentially 1 other monster to the grave just so I could trigger that CyberDark Chimera. Well, now we can easily just use that to summon our Union Carrier. Then we will not only trigger the Chimera and have the correct amount of CyberDarks in grave, but we will also have our Union Carrier, which we can then activate once we get to our CyberDark End Dragon. In addition, I was just playing mostly 3 of the fusions that they give you from the structure deck that you can get. We really don't need more than 2 of any of these, so I have shaved things down and added all of the generically good Nightmare package, as well as, of course, Union Carrier and Predaplant Verte Anaconda, because we can just do this as well and activate something like an Overload Fusion. So this is the updated deck with the Buster Extra Deck lock for if you're trying to climb the ladder after the Fusion Festival. I think this is actually a much more powerful version of the deck, and certainly more resilient than the other. If you like this video, give it a like, a thumbs up, all that crap. It's your boy Julian signing out. Oh, not this Fusion Festival. Fusion Festival. It's not gonna work, buddy. That's right. Run and hide. Run and hide, you cowardly true Draco players. Be gone. What the hell is this? What the hell is this?